As we continue our journey on building trust, we will stay on the topic of integrity another week and consider ways to guard our integrity. As integrity tests are a moving target, it's important we find principles to protect and guide us on the way. I will start with a video chat I had with Augustus, a person I've observed for over 20 years and someone who possesses tremendous personal integrity. So, Augustus, what do you say is involved in a life of integrity?
Hearts and thoughts.
Okay. Would you want to expand on what you mean by hearts?
I would draw attention to Jeremiah from the Bible, where the Lord himself speaks. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, searcheth the heart. I test the mind. So, honesty of hearts and sincerity of thoughts are to be aligned with God. Then he would guard it.
How do you maintain integrity by protecting your heart and your thoughts, Augustus?
For me, two things are important. Transparency, which is intentional, and accountability.
And so can you give a personal example of how this accountability part you have put in practice in your life?
For long years, I have practiced this because people tend to tell us that we are accountable only to God. Doesn't happen that way. No person with integrity can say that, because we need to be accountable to a brother, which James admonishes us from the Bible. So what I do is I pick a person, but he is not a sole confidant of my life. That is, everything to one person. No, I don't put all my eggs into one basket. I have different aspects of my life: professional, personal, spiritual. People I have to whom I will very openly talk. I open myself. Though the Bible says, a fool uttereth his heart, I don't mind this, but I open myself completely. And I pick and choose people who have the capacity to come back and critique me, or even tell me that I'm wrong and I should stop. So that's how I maintain accountability in life.
Fantastic. Very good. And so how would you sum up?
It is my humble statement that all these things come together in my life by knowing, experiencing, and enjoying God.
Having a few accountability partners offers guardrails that keep us from straying off the road of integrity. Let us intentionally use good accountability partners. Marketing and sales on normal days can be a minefield for anyone's integrity, but with today's uncertainty, the test is greater. I decided to check how a dear friend Ozzy handles this challenge every day.
As a sales director in my role, it becomes difficult every day to convey senior management decisions to staff that I work with and I manage. So being in sales, we have numbers and targets. So every month, I've got to go and defend our target numbers for each individual salesperson to the board. And then the board critiques everyone's income versus their targets. Once this is done, I now have to go back to the team and explain either they're short on what they're supposed to be delivering, and it's the way that it's conveyed to them. They know me quite well as being honest and being fair. The message is there, but I've got to deliver that message with kindness and also encourage them without compromising the actual essence of the message that's been sent down. It is especially more difficult at this time with everything that's happening in the world to deliver high numbers as expected. So I've got to manage the board's expectation and be honest with them as well. And I've got to convey the message to my team with kindness and explain to them what also the board's expectations are of them and what my expectations are of them as well. It is a very, very difficult, especially a situation in the market. But I pray to God every single day not to be led into a situation whereby my integrity aside and says work. I can't say this is the message from the board, this is what you need to do. I need to take responsibility for that as well and say, this is my message to you. This is my communication to you. This is what I expect from you in the kindest possible way. And I also need to convey that message back to the board and the strongest possible way, defending my team as well and growing them to do what they're supposed to do. I tell my team that at home, I'm a dad, and at work, I'm also their dad. So I've got to make sure that they're protected and covered and giving them guidance with love. But again, I need to protect them from themselves and against anything else that comes their way.
Like Ozzy, many of us handle such challenges with the wisdom and strength we get from our relationship with God. Giving gifts to customers is a universal business practice used to build customer relationships. The ethical question that arises is, when does a gift become a bribe? It is a difficult issue with a lot of gray areas. Let me share a true story. The college I work at has clear codes of conduct for gifts. Faculty are not supposed to accept any gifts from students, period. We can accept gifts from customers only if the value is less than 100 riyals. Once a bank, which is a customer of ours, invited me and 2 colleagues for the launch of a new online service. All guests at the event were welcomed with a gift bag, a normal practice at such events. Usually, small gifts with company logos are given. Being inquisitive by nature, I peeked into my gift bag and I was stunned to see it had the latest iPad, way above the 100 riyal threshold. As it would be rude to return the gift at the event, we took the iPads with us and the next morning deposited it in the office of our Vice President Finance with the intention of returning it to the bank. The bank was very upset with the college's policy and told us, "Listen, this is just a gift. What's all this fuss about? Are you implying we have other intentions?" Finally, I came up with a solution acceptable to the bank and the college. At the next graduation ceremony, the top 3 students were awarded an iPad each, with the bank being listed as the sponsor. When I narrate this incident to my business ethics students, most think we had taken an extreme position. But I believe, and I tell them, it's always better to err on the side of caution in matters of integrity. Paul reminds us about this when he says, "So, if you think you are standing, watch out that you don't fall." Let's build fences of accountability, honesty, and codes of conduct in our personal and professional life and finish our race with both integrity and honor. And may God be our protector.